there with Yuval Weber. He's an expert on Russian and Eurasian affairs, and I want to start with these 24 sailors. Zelensky has said he wants them released, not as a part of an exchange. He wants to see them released. Where will this go now? Is he emboldened with the results of this election?
Well, Vladimir Putin is not going to want to release them because they are such a valuable bargaining chip. And particularly, although Zelensky hasn't really said too many of his very specific, let's say, legislative priorities ahead of the next parliament, he has confirmed that Ukraine will continue to go for EU and NATO membership, both things which are totally non-starters for Russia. So for those sailors, they can probably anticipate being in captivity or being in prison for quite a while longer.
Why was this election so important for Zelensky? He even told one media outlet that this is more important than the presidential vote. We don't know the final number yet because for the Rada there's all these individual district votes as well that need to be counted. But why is this Sunday vote so important for him?
So in a sense, Zelensky was elected the president of Ukraine, so he's the head of state, but he's not the head of government. So these parliamentary elections are meant to essentially say who's going to be the biggest party, who can select the prime minister. So for the past 2 months, Zelensky has been basically with Petro Poroshenko's government, which has stonewalled every single one of his legislative priorities. So having new elections and new people is meant to actually get some legislation done. One component of the parliamentary system there is that the new government, the new Rada, won't be able to be dissolved for at least 1 year. So we'll have at least 1 year with the people who get elected today in order to move through with changing up Ukrainian politics, going on anti-corruption or whatever else that Mr. Zelensky is interested in.
How do you think this is being viewed in Europe, in Brussels, in Berlin? You know, I remember when Yanukovych left. I remember when Yulia Tymoshenko was released from prison. There was a lot of enthusiasm that Ukraine is turning west. How do you think they're viewing these results?
So Zelensky, it's still not exactly clear 100% on what he'll do. But one component, one sort of main theme of his entire presidency and campaign and so forth is being new, anti-corruption, the promise of Maidan. And so one sort of thing that he did is that each one of the people running on the his party's list has not previously served in government before. He's also said that his prime minister is someone who will not have been prime minister or president or speaker of the parliament before. So what he's really trying to do is to signal that he will actually change Ukrainian politics, not least by just having new people who aren't supported by, you know, the previous forces that the people of Ukraine are probably pretty tired of by this point.
Yeah, and these aren't just people. A lot of these are personalities. He, of course, was a comedian. His party has a wrestler, a professional wrestler, also a person of color, quite interesting in Ukraine. We saw another party with a rock star as a candidate. I remember Vitaly Klitschko, mayor of Kiev, the boxer turned politician. Are Ukrainians rejecting establishment, and are we seeing more of that on Sunday?
Yeah, so to the extent that of the 5 parties that made it, Petro Poroshenko was previously the president. His party did not do very well at all. And so he probably at this point only represents the rump of basically the most anti-Russia vote. And you can see that that's not even 10% of 10% of the electorate. What 44% or however much Zelensky's party gets, that signifies that they want to get into Ukraine, they want to get into EU, NATO, and whatever else, and put essentially the years of war behind them.
All right, Yuval Weber, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.